It's a fire in love. It's a fire in love.
IPL5 Las Vegas! Let's hear you! This is it, folks. Come on! Welcome to the League of Draven.
Wow. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Are you ready for the grand final, summoners?
Grand finals.
Please welcome from China, Team WE. And from all over Europe, give it up for Fnatic
And now, please join me in welcoming the casters for the grand finals, Joe Miller, D-Man, and Jat.
Make some noise! So welcome everybody to Las Vegas, the IPL5 Grand Final. It's been a long weekend, an amazing, amazing weekend of endless games, hours and hours and hours of awesomeness, and it all comes down to this.
It should be fantastic. We've seen Fnatic have been playing all morning. They've been working hard. We've already seen these teams face off against each other twice in this tournament. 2-1 in a best of 3, 1-0 in the group. Can Fnatic turn that tide?
And the way this is going to work, actually, it's a weighted best of 5, so there's a 1-game advantage for Team WE. They win 2 more, they're in. If Fnatic wins 3, they're going to take it as well. And it's going to be so interesting. This entire tournament, I think we haven't had a tournament on LAN that's had this many games. There's been over 70 games played in just 4 days, which is an unreal number. And the work these guys have had to put in to get to this point, we'll see if fatigue sets in.
And that's the real question here for Fnatic. They've been sat on the stage all morning long, doing a lot of work to come into this one. Jack, you probably know better than the two of us. How is it to play a tournament that lasts this long? How mentally draining is that on you? It's
really mentally draining. It all depends on just sometimes how close the games are, because the really close games drain you way more than the stomps. The good thing for Fnatic is that last game they had against TPA could really give them a lot of confidence because they destroyed them in that match. Sometimes we've seen these loser bracket teams come up with a lot of momentum, so even though they're very tired, they've had more time in the environment to get used to it. Team WE has played less games, substantially less games in this tournament than Fnatic, because they just 2-0'd their group, got out of that right away, 2-0'd all their games up until Fnatic, and they just cruised into the finals. So they've really had the winner's bracket easy road to get here.
And of course, you can see the percentages on the screens there. 56% to Fnatic, 44% to Team WE right now, or World Elite, whichever you'd like to refer to them as. You can vote on that. It is ign.com/IPLLOL. It is on the website. You just need to simply click it. You can use the iOS app as well. There's all sorts of peripherals you can use to vote in this and to watch this finals, because if you're not watching it, everyone's going to say, oh, did you watch that game? Oh, no. No, I went out, I slept, I had a coffee.
Watching the VODs is just not the same. So make sure all your friends know that this one's going on, because surely, after everything that we've had in this tournament, I don't want to jinx it, but surely, Jack, this is going to be an amazing game.
Maybe we'll have one that's longer than 69 minutes with the Embers bouncing back and forth. And it's going to be really crazy because just today, these guys played 3 games against each other. So it's really almost like an extended best of 7 within this only day. It's already been 2-1. We have potentially 4 more games coming. And just some patterns that have came out. Every game against Team WE, Fnatic banned Twisted Fate and Rengar, so they're not going to let Messiah have his big money champion. And likewise, they banned Zyra and Lee Sin every single time against Fnatic. So some of the most banned champions in the tournament just showing through again in this matchup.
And how much of a mental block will it be, the fact that they did play each other this morning? And Fnatic was so strong in the first game, they effectively threw the second game. And then they lost the 2-1. They've already lost 1-0. The mentality between these teams, they're going to have the mental edge, Team WE. They know, well, we've already beat these guys a few times, but is that dangerous? Can they get overconfident?
Well, we've seen Reckles post on Facebook, actually, that they threw games 2 and 3, so they actually feel like they've played a fairly good tournament. They just made a few mistakes. And if there's ever a team that can bounce back, it's going to be Fnatic, because they had the largest lull, really, of any team, being the champions in Season 1 about a year and a half ago, and then really not doing that much up until about a week ago. And now, in one of the biggest tournaments in League of Legends history, they're in the grand final against Team WE. Likewise, for Team WE, getting back to your point, the overconfidence could very well be an issue. Those were some really close games they had against Fnatic, and they really haven't had a chance to lose in this tournament, so they haven't been able to adjust to what's happened to them. And if they lose a bit in Fnatic early, they could just get wiped out.
Well, this is possibly one of the most amazing stories in League of Legends as well. Let's not forget, Fnatic shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
They replaced Alternate at the last minute to come to IPL, and they're in the grand final.
That's not a bad return, is it? I mean, you just turn up. I think you saw XPK have the interview early on. They didn't really know who they were facing. They just had last-minute replacement. They just quickly practiced. But that's actually maybe given them a bonus. They haven't ground out stuff. And the fact that they've already just won a tournament at DreamHack, the confidence is already on a high level. The best form of practice is tournaments. And they'd already played in a very strong one, beaten COG EU.
And they're really just riding that high. Even after the DreamHack final, after they beat COG EU, most teams would have just countered off and practiced. As we see a Lee Sin locked in, that's actually a big surprise. But they actually went and scrimmed immediately after their win in DreamHack.
Well, you say surprise. We saw Soaz on Lee Sin earlier on in the actual lanes. He lanes that in top lane or bottom lane, whichever one you want to be in, whichever one they're switching around. So, what will WE do? We see Diana getting locked in there, a very popular champion this tournament. Yeah,
and even Olaf is an incredibly popular champion this tournament as well. If you actually look at the pick ban percentage, Olaf is number 4, Lee Sin is number 2, Diana is number 1 in percentage of games pick banned. So really, the trends of this tournament showing through all the way to the finals. Ezreal actually the most picked champion, never banned in this entire tournament. So really, these guys are just trading their what have been considered to be power picks back and forth. Not too much specifically for individuals quite yet.
And Evelyn banned out there, we saw in all 3 games of that best of 3 earlier on as well. So I guess Fnatic, or World Elite even, I mean, they kind of switched it between them in that best of 3. I guess neither team were really like, do we want Evelyn in there? World Elite the ones to ban her out in the end.
Well, we just saw XPK playing Evelyn, didn't we, against Type A Assassins and absolutely demolished them, obviously with the help of Reckless. Reckless on Ezreal has been so strong. Yeah. So let's talk about the 2 ADs. Reckless versus Wei Zhao. Ari has been locked in there, so it's going to be XPK and Ari versus Diana.
And this is something we haven't seen in a while. In the World Championships, we saw no Ari really the entire time. Then there was that one match where Ari showed up for, I believe it was it WE?
Yeah,
and they
it was the
13-0'd,
semifinals.
Right?
It was like, boom.
It was like 15 kills to 0 against COG EU, and then she was gone again. So a nice pick here. XPK loves playing assassin champions. That's why you see him on Diana, Katarina, and Ari as well. Can really just go in and assassinate. WE also picking Amumu here, so these picks are actually coming out very fast, and they are changing up a bit because this is not something we've exactly seen in the previous 3-game set.
This is actually something, if you remember, WE against Moscow 5, was it? I believe it was. They had a similar comp to this. They had the Amumu, they had the Sona. Wow. They comboed it so well. Yeah. But that is going to be Xin Zhao in the jungle and Leona. That's a hell of a lot of stun control.
This is just the dive team that Fnatic is picking up. We've seen almost alternate when they pick Kha'Zix or when they pick Eve. They are living in the other team's turrets. They just extend fights, and this is a team that is extremely potent at extending fights based on their team comp. Let's actually just kind of regroup here. What does WE have left? They just haven't picked their AD carry, so most of their composition is just decided already. I'd expect him to play Corki. Wei Zhao, really, that's his favorite, it seems.
Well, he certainly proved to be one of, if not the best AD carry. I think everyone has a hard time in lane against him. He seems like he never misses his CS. He's just such a fantastically talented player. And there is the Corki.
And when he gets control of the lane, it just seems like WE just feeds Wei Zhao so much farm. He's always able to take the lane up. Then he starts living in the enemy's jungle, always taking their red buffs and so forth. this is going to be a really epic match because these teams are pretty cool.
So let's go through the team comps. You can see them on your screens. It is going to be Lee Sin Chao, Ari, Ezreal, and Leona versus Olaf, Amumu, Diana, Corki, and Sonajat. What are we thinking here? What are you feeling between these two teams?
I'm thinking that Fnatic is going to be very much about roaming and just diving in for team fights. Everyone is a go-in champion except for Ezreal in the back. It's almost a quadra dive. We've talked about dive buddies, dive trios. 4 of them right now. They're going to be going all out towards WE. For WE, though, it's about trying to dive through Amumu and their ability to protect and combo. Messiah's going to try to go in, get that Diana vacuum in, and they'll combo it with Sona ultimate. So really both teams, Fnatic all about diving in, WE still about diving in, but more about AoE and crisp team fighting.
And the thing is, we have a lot of players on champions that they are super comfortable with as well in this game. I mean, you've got Wei Zhao on Corki, we've talked about that before. Messiah, fantastic Diana player. You know, it's not quite his Twisted Fate, but he just never gets to play that one anyway, so he can probably forget about that coming forward. Then you've got N-rated, that Leona that we've seen from right back at IEM Hanover when he played it for AAA in that bottom lane with Yellow Star. Proved to be an amazing Leona player that can make a big difference in these games.
So there they are on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you want to win this one? Team WE coming in. They've only dropped 1 game. It is the Fnatic. If you'd like to see them take it, give them a cheer, please.
I've got a feeling the next one might be a little bit louder here. The story around this team is absolutely amazing. Have we got any Fnatic fans in here? Let's hear some noise for Fnatic.
So, as you would expect, the Fnatic are the favorites. They were the Season 1 champions. Can they regain some love in the world of League of Legends? They drifted away for so long, and they have come back just after the Season 2 finals, of course, knocking the Season 2 champions out of the tournament as well. I mean, that's a big thing in itself. Type A Assassins, so strong, yet beaten 2-0.
And really beaten 4-0 by Fnatic because they are the ones who knocked him into the losers bracket initially. Fnatic's worked so hard through this, winning in the group stage, not even thinking they'd come into the tournament, and now it's almost like W is the final boss for them in this IPL5 tournament because they've played so many games and they finally have to finish them off. Really quick mouse bug, but we're now back in the game. Teams run out of the base.
So here we go. If you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, where have you been all weekend? We've had some amazing games at IPL5. It has been a fantastic tournament. Some saying the best tournament so far in League of Legends history. It is on your screens. Fnatic Raid Call as the blue team and Team WE as the red Jat. Straight away, we're seeing a possible invade.
And Fnatic not wasting any time rushing into that brush, hoping that WE is going to poke their heads around and try to get that ward in the Wraith area, like so many teams have been doing early game. Somehow WE sniffed it out a little bit. Normally you would want to put a lot of defensive wards out if you're in a Amumu jungle against a Xin Zhao. Xin's very much about early aggression in the jungle, and Amumu's very prone to early counter jungling. So here they go running around the blue buff. They may get spotted out by a ward, and Ping's going down. They're predicting that movement.
Headed down towards this bottom lane there. We can see Wei Zhao is actually in that ward down there at the bottom. Currently Fnatic not spotted anyone from World Elite in a tense moment here at the start. We've seen games can be decided with this kind of opening. There is the ward put down from Fnatic. Will be right on top of the World Elite ward, and it looks like they will simply back away from this one. Wei Zhao may choose to exchange a bit of damage here as he actually dodges a shot coming out from Reckles. And Reckless, sorry, I'm into that habit again.
Yeah.
Is not going to know he's there and actually back away. So Wei Zhao actually getting good vision. He's seen those the AD carry and Leona going back towards the golems.
And a really cute chess game coming out from these guys because they both predicted early vision control is necessary at the at World Elite's blue buff. So both teams burning that wards. Now, since they did start there, we see the very early jungle for both teams. Xin Zhao starting at Wraiths, blue buff getting taken by Mumu.
Yeah, you see the Wolves also being picked up there. The large Wolves being picked and given to Xpeke in the mid lane. So Xpeke may well hit level 2 earlier on here against Messiah. So may even see some early aggression. So Jap, just take us through this lane to start with. In the mid lane, it is Messiah versus Xpeke. There's been such a strong lineup.
And this is a matchup we've yet to see this tournament. We've seen a bunch of Diana, but almost no Ahri. Ahri really needs to be able to poke with her range and take advantage of Messiah being a melee character in Diana. But really, Diana has proven time and again that she is one of the safest, most reliable laners in League of Legends right now. That's why everyone decides to pick him. So it's going to be on XPK a little bit to try to create something because we know that Messiah is going to be able to with Diana.
And that top lane as well, Lee Sin versus Olaf. We've seen Lee Sin being banned out pretty much constantly as well against most teams. So has not really had the chance to play him either in this tournament. We've seen some great picks from him as we are now seeing two men coming up here. Red buff is being stolen away by Fnatic, and there is a ward right on top of it. So let's see if they can reply.
Doesn't look like they want any part of Cyanide right now. Clearlove just biding his time, trying to stay alive in the jungle, so they know exactly where Xin Zhao is coming up top for a gank, but Xiao Mei is very cautiously near his turret.
Cyanide's just positioning himself. Instead, he's going to go back to Golems. Clearlove is there, goes straight in towards Clearlove, and that is why he doesn't want a part of it. Just look at the exchange straight away. Red buff helping him out there, does get the knock up and immediately backs away. Soaz comes around to protect him. It does mean that top lane will back away. They're not giving up on this one yet, Joe.
They're not giving up on this one. They're actually pushing in. Olaf just on that top side. Doesn't want to face check through that brush without having the proper vision. There's Soaz back to lane. Cyanide going to back away to his blue. But nice buff steal at the start.
Soaz and Cyanide are really going to be a tag team coming through for this. Zin's going to be able to dive in very easily with his E, and then Lee Sin can just shield in with him and wreak havoc together. Sneaky little Wraith steal by XPK, not letting Messiah steal any of those Wraiths. That mid lane is going to be a really dynamic matchup when they hit 6.
Yeah, so let's have a look at this bottom lane. You see Reckless versus Wei Xiao. And Wei Xiao, you know, he is the top AD in the world. I don't think there's a question on that one myself. Reckless actually keeping up in the CS and ahead of him slightly. Ezreal versus Corki, it's a standard lineup that we've seen so often in this tournament, but N-rated on Leona. Honestly, I would put him as the best Leona player in the world.
I would honestly, if you're making a case for this tournament alone, Reckless and N-rated are making a play for being one of the best AD carry support duos possible. There were multiple times during the TPA game where they were killing Mistake just in straight up 2v2s against TPA. So this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup because there was only one game where Wei Xiao didn't do well, and that was against CLG EU Game 2. Everything else, he's been absolutely crushing. Reckles on one of his favorite ADs. His Ezreal has been epic this tournament. Let's see if they can do something in this matchup.
Well, currently controlling that lane, like you said. Let's have a look towards top there because Olaf has pushed that lane right out. So as did go back to buy, come back in there with that Doran's Blade. So can have a bit of extra damage in there. And obviously the health will give him a good boost as well. That lane being pushed right up on towards his tower, which I don't expect Soaz to have any problems with as Wei Xiao takes damage in the bottom.
So up top, we can just see Soaz and Xiao Mei really not trading much back and forth. Such safe top laners in all honesty. People seem to be picking Olaf, especially WE, just as the safe top lane pick. It's on Olaf to make sure Soaz doesn't snowball out of control. Really going to watch for when he teleports in somewhere because that's when Fnatic's going to try to make plays.
So currently the gold advantage very much level past 6.8k to 6.8k. We can see that down the bottom, Reckless, slightest of advantages, still in that 5 CS lead. In the mid lane, it is Messiah that is leading the advantage at the moment. That's really about when Peke went up and tried to help out on towards that red buff, though.
Yeah, and once these guys hit 6 is when this lane's really going to begin. Neither of them have their go-in spells until they get their ultimates. First to 6 is Messiah. Sometimes they look to get crazy aggressive immediately, but because there's a larger creep stack for XPK, he might not go, but the threat is definitely there.
Here is Cyanide once again headed on towards the enemy jungle as Soaz and Xiao Mei finally exchange a bit of damage in this top lane. But here we go, Messiah going in on towards PK.
Straight in there, and you can see PK burning down. Is Messiah going to land the crescent? Actually flashes through, misses it, hits the tower, and there comes Cyanide! That's first blood for Cyanide! So well duped out. They knew he was there, but they had to go aggressive, and that just countered badly for them.
XPK brilliantly flashing away from that last Crescent Strike. He'd expended all 3 of his ultimate charges and then just dipped to the side as Cyanide crushed in, and that was just an outplay of Messiah. Such a close matchup. Beautiful juke. He was down in minions, but now with that assist, and especially the kill to Cyanide, we'll see how they can take this advantage elsewhere.
Such a great start to what is surely going to be an amazing series. I actually almost fell off my chair for that one. So if you hear a funny noise in the microphone, that's me under the table falling off my chair. So hopefully that won't happen. But here we go then. Let's have a look quickly down the CS in this top lane. We've seen Olaf coming back in there with the Heart of Gold. I mentioned earlier on that Soaz had gone back to pick up that Doran's Blade, and Soaz is in the lead by a good 10 CS there. And there is the Wriggles Lantern picked up. by Cyanide on Xin Shao as well. So I'm going to give him that extra potency in the jungle as well as the pressure being applied again in his bottom lane. And one thing we know, Demon, Jack, sorry, is in this bottom lane, N-rated, or just Leona specifically, but N-rated in particular, is very, very aggressive.
And this is another one of those lanes that's really going to key off who hits 6 first. N-rated just ticked it. There's no crescendo yet on Sona. If he sees the smallest window, him and Reckless are going to be flying in. One more creep for Reckless, and he's 6 as well. Oh, they just miss the Zenith Blade in the bottom lane. And here they come.
They're going straight in. His Wei Zhao seems to be the target. The True Shot Barrage misses. They try and turn their aggression back on towards FZZF and do force him backwards. Meanwhile, in that top lane, we did catch a glimpse of Ari going aggressive on Sao Mei. Sao Mei being forced away. Blue buff being picked by Mumu, not given to Messiah.
And that's an interesting choice. Messiah really just can duel without the blue buff, not a super mana constrained champion, and Amumu is so benefited by that blue buff. This is a different WE. When we saw them in the World Championships, they were completely giving all the farm to Messiah and Wei Zhao, but in the last month, Clear Love has really gotten a lot more confidence, and they defer more farm to him. Early Oracles and a blue buff on Clear Love.
Here was Wei Zhao down the bottom, getting a lot of damage in onto him. Actually, Reckless not really offering the damage back as N-rated falls very low. Now it's Reckless who's been pressured. There's a Valkyrie, and the flash from Wei Zhao. He picks up the 1 kill. Can he take down Reckless as well? Not quite got the damage, but here comes the teleport. Soaz now in, onto Wei Zhao, kicks him against the wall. 2-1, a kill coming down for Soaz, and he's not done yet, Demon.
He's not done yet, but he wants to go for it. Aggression across all of the lanes there. And Jack, that is just exactly what they needed. A support down, traded for an AD carry.
That's why he brings that teleport in the top lane. He's actually out minion killing Sao Mei as well as being able to lend pressure via that gank. Really fun kick straight into the wall there, making sure he immobilized Wei Zhao for that combo kill. And the brilliant thing about that is when he teleported down, Cyanide naturally went top lane to hold. So that's going to just help the whole team get ahead because overall they didn't lose any experience share.
So Clear Love now got the Oracles out as well. We've just seen him clearing that ward up by the red buff. Obviously that was stolen away by Cyanide earlier stages of this game as well. And now we see Cyanide just covering this top lane, getting that experience and the farm as well, as obviously Soaz had teleported down in towards that bottom lane. Mid lane here, 60 to 81 CS. Jack, is this how you really expected this lane to go in terms of that CS difference?
I kind of thought XPK would be able to get a bit more minion kills, but it's explainable because he's tried to do so much roaming. Really, it's been about Messiah just trying to keep the lane pushed, trying to steal XPK's rates, and XP not really doing much against it. So overall, I think the lane's going how the players are deciding to play it.
So N-rated sneaking back down towards that bottom lane. Messiah taking away the wraiths and continue to build that advantage. Every time actually you see that XPK does go across there, Messiah maybe thinking of heading towards him. They put that wall down purposely to defend off those wraiths. PK can't get across. They go for them. Meanwhile, down the bottom, and they're going to go towards N-rated.
N-rated getting the crescendo across, but he's very, very low. Will actually fall there to Wei Zhao. And with the 3 of them there, that was the best possible outcome for World Elite.
And one of the great things about that is Clear Love had the blue buff when he popped that ultimate, so it's going to be coming back substantially sooner with the Oracles as well. He made sure they didn't get seen on the entrance to that, and it's really going to help Wei Zhao get back in that lane a bit now. 2 kills to 1 over Reckless, so even though the mini kills are close, that lead might grow a little bit bigger.
Okay, so let's look across the items. We can see that Team WE, they're starting to stack a couple of GP10 items, whereas Fnatic are just going for it. There's no GP10. Well, there is one on the support, of course, but on that top lane, Brutalizer, Longsword, they're just going for pure aggression.
And this is going to be on Fnatic to make things happen in that case, as we see Xin Zhao flying down bottom lane. Let's see if they can get this gank.
Corki saving that Valkyrie. Here, there is the Valkyrie over the top. Cyanide going in, though. He's under the tower. Is Wei Zhao going to go down? No, not enough damage coming out. And I think Fnatic probably could have had that one. I mean, the turret hit initially onto Cyanide was probably what sent them back. And
we'll see how this AD carry item build actually develops, because Reckless has been going straight Infinity Edge to Phantom Dancer on Ezreal, whereas Wei Zhao is going with a Phage into a Trinity Force. Whether or not that pays off for him, we have to see. But because of that gank bottom, all of Fnatic collapsing down for this Dragon. Should be 4 members for 0, free match.
It will be a free Dragon, and that's going to be Fnatic building the gold advantage. There it is, 1,000 gold advantage now given. Soaz just puts the Q on towards Sao Mei, trying to back off in his turret. Not going to allow that. Clear Love hanging around in that top. Has got an Oracle on now, so we'll see whether he starts getting involved in this. Meanwhile, the opposite jungle, you can see he's got that Wriggles Lance and going to get that free ward down. And wards starting to get placed out across the map here, Jack. Let's look across the control. There's Oracle just being picked up, by the way, by Cyanide. How are we favoring it so far as we're moving to, what, 12.5 minutes into this game?
It does seem like Fnatic has a bit more control right now, especially due to top lane. Soaz really showing his versatility this tournament, able to play absolutely everything. And when you bring teleport into a lane against someone who doesn't have teleport, they're up a combat summoner on you. The fact Soaz is winning that lane even still really just shows how well he is playing. That's what's giving Fnatic this slight edge, the teleport kill bottom, and also taking the turret, going to give them even more advantage.
Yep, that was the first turret of this game. We'll put Fnatic further in the lead in the gold. We saw a pink ward just being placed down in this bottom lane by FZZF, just to clear out what was already there. And always a vital thing as well, Jack, to have that pink ward there, not just for the vision control, but with that teleport almost up to stop that Lee Sin coming down into the bottom lane.
And Joe, it's going to be very, very vital that they keep ward control there. You can see Fnatic with the top turret down, though, in the Wraith side of the jungle, really just looking to make something happen. They're waiting for Masai to come back in lane. They're going to try to potentially three-man dive him right when they see him and get that blue buff off Masai. This is going to be tense.
There they go. His Messiah seems to be the target. There lands the Q. The ulti kick wasn't quite enough. Actually put him into the wall. Peke wants to follow it, landed the charm, but again, he avoided the damage very well there, Messiah. Had to burn the flash, but, you know, when you get out of a situation like that, it's safe. They're going back towards Soaz.
Soaz going in there, bandage toss, miss. Oh, what a move! What a move outside of the Amumu ultimate. A split second before it goes off. That was fantastic micro play, Jack.
An inch away from death there for Soaz, and Lee Sin is just so slippery as a champion. You always think you can get him, but he will just run across the entire map, jumping away. So close. That's not even a bad ultimate by Clearlove. That was just superior reaction time by Soaz. And maybe a little bit of luck. He's going to keep that 120 to 100 minion kill advantage and probably take it right back to top lane. Okay, so items working out now. Phage should have been built out by Soaz in that top lane. Or not so much in the top lane. He's been roaming around that much. He's been pretty much everywhere. Cyanide picking up a ward. Meanwhile, with the Oracle, he's going to turn it towards Messiah, trying to put a bit of pressure down. He will get the knock up here because Messiah's already burned the flash a moment ago. The charm lands down. Peke gets in there. And Peke absolutely destroys him where he stands. That's all about that flash being burnt a minute ago. That is just a repeat gank coming in. So well executed by Fnatic. And they seem to just be outplaying WE right now. Got to take advantage of these things because, as you pointed out earlier, there are the 3 gold per 10 items that have been built onto the other side, and they have an edge here since they didn't go for that. Need to keep taking turrets, need to keep taking kills so they don't fall behind.
And that was teleport coming in now from Lee Sin as well. Where is he going? Down towards that bottom lane. Actually goes in behind as the ulti's all coming down on toward FZZF. There is a crescendo, but there's a Lee Sin behind you. He's going to kick Corki. FZZF getting away. Wage out is there. Reckless not finished yet. He's going to snipe off FZZF. And there is Soaz to pick up the double. And he gets away from the tower as well. Amazing again from Fnatic.
Soaz is really just the catalyst for everything that's happening here. Messiah's going to try to come down and shove them off this, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Helping Reckles in this bottom lane. The second teleport gank has been successful, and they're just taking this pressure. But he's going all the way in.
Messiah goes in. It's N-rated. Seems to be the target. He will get him down. No! The stun comes out. The ultimate use. He's just distracting him away from it. It will be a kill, but Sao may be forced away by XPK and Cyanide there. XPK is not giving up on this one yet. The charm, oh, just within a hair, and gets away from it. Towers being pushed across the map. They didn't take the bottom turret because Messiah did get down and defend it, but it's only a matter of time here, Jack. 3,000 gold advantage.
It's a good tower hold by Messiah. They have to make sure they can stop this snowball. If they lose that third turret, it's going to be even more trouble. But that middle turret being so important, and that Oracle's on Cyanide clearing out more wards, really going to be giving them map control. They need Olaf to start getting to his items. They have to get that Abyssal Scepter on Messiah, and it's going to be about forcing teamfight at this point for WE because they're getting ran around a little bit. They can't just live off the Amumu ultimate cooldown for ganks because Cyanide is coming much more frequently, and that pressure advantage means WE has to control this game and get it together.
See that blue buff being taken for XPK in that middle lane as Ezreal comes back into lane. BF sword, pickaxe now. As we talked about earlier, slightly different build that Reckless likes to go for with this Ezreal Corki, more standard, 2 out of 3 parts of that Trinity Force already finished as well. In terms of the top laners, whoa, wow, what a move down at the bottom.
Yeah, caught out there, N-Race is going to get dropped. There's no way he's going to survive this one, and that's just a standard in this. I don't understand because I'm sure they already pinged it, realized he's going there. Messiah turns aggressive on towards PK, but you can see the damage coming out from Soaz. It's going to take him down. Salmei needs to be careful now. He's going to come in. He's going to have his Ragnarok running, so he can't charm him. Going to try and finish on towards PK. PK cannot get away from it. Now clear on towards Soaz. Comes around, gets the bandage toss. Has he got enough? No. Again, Lee Sin, too slippery.
Trading a 1-for-1 in that up top kill and the 1-for-0 in the bottom makes it an overall 2-for-1 for Team WE. Slight bit of control there, but that burned the Amumu ult. Let's see if they can continue to press this on. But with all members in mid here, Soa's coming around for the back. Are they going to try to hold this?
Lee Sin waiting there. Cyanide on the front of the tower. The Q actually landing on ZF, and as he comes in there and will dash straight across to his minions to get back behind the protection of that tower. And Fnatic managing to hold on to it for now.
That was about the best move that Soaz could have made to stop that, but now the Dragon is up. Ari and Diana are both res running towards the Cyanide getting caught out.
Phase check from Cyanide. He's actually managed to survive though. A 4-man dive with the bandage toss and he gets out of the danger, but it also means they don't have the smite. They are going to give this one surely to Team WE. Can they try and get a steal? They've got no true shot barrage available.
You can see Fnatic trying to poke around the Dragon. It's getting only at half health. They're looking like they might want to go in. It would be a 4v5, but with how long they've held the Dragon, they're getting a bit low. Soaz is very strong. They might go for this.
They're going to go in there, but Amumu will smite it down. There's Messiah going very, very low, and Rated there will fall, and that's bad for Fnatic in this one. But PK puts the ultimate on, gets himself a double kill. Can they get any more? Valkyrie over the top, but here is Soaz. Oh, he landed the Q! He landed the Q!
And Messiah managing to pick up the kill. Reckless goes down. They're going to close on towards Messiah. They're coming from both angles. PK using the charm in towards that, but Soaz is in the bush. Soaz comes around, lands the Q, follows him through, flashes out of it. Duke nicely. He's going to get the Q back up. The cooldown is up in any second. There's the cooldown. Lands it. Soaz gets the kill, and Messiah goes down. Soaz on a rampage.
Unreal play by Soaz. This is why Lee Sin gets banned against them, and this is why WE banned Lee Sin against Fnatic all 3 games earlier today in the winners bracket final, taking control of this game. That was amazing play when he fired the Q in the opposite direction to get 1 kill and then auto-attacked the enemy for the second. It was actually brilliant camera work going away through all of that. Now let's see how Fnatic continues this, because these chaotic fights are giving them ever much advantage. X-Peak behind 2 members of WE. It's a tricky situation.
I'm not sure that they've actually spotted him in there, though. That's the funny thing about it. He managed to run a ring around World Elite. They're going to clear out that one ward. PK says, well, that's 1 down, but I'll stick 1 right in there again. Blue buff now being started off, but they have to be real careful here, Fnatic.
We'll see. They're pulling out the blue buff. They know that Olaf is stuck farming top lane, so they could potentially have a 5v4 over here. But they're pushing the mid turret with Soaz and Cyanide while they take the blue. WE's going to have to respond to this somehow, but they're cut off.
And that is going to be the inner turret going down, and now they're cutting off towards the rest of Team WE. Team WE completely going to get caught in a mash here. It's Fnatic closing it around them, N-rated with that shield. Goes to the sad mommy, doesn't do anything. Soaz goes in, diving in there, Cyanide goes in. Reckless picks up 1, Clearlove goes down, that's an Oracle. Reckless, Soaz going so strongly towards FCCF. That's another kill. The charm on towards Salmei. Salmei has to lock his Ragnarok down, but honestly, there's 4 members, and he's just getting kited around, and they're going to dive in. He's trying to finish it off, but Reckless is there again. He's getting fed. 4-1-6, Fnatic fighting.
This is the Fnatic we've been seeing all tournament. They're living in between WE's turrets, never stopping to dive. Soaz just getting the max range on that Q seemingly every time. He is an assassin with it, getting every single Q to land. And even though that was the kind of group team fight WE wanted, it was too chaotic, Fnatic diving too well, and WE is too disoriented here. Now the gold ever creeping up on them. They might not be able to win this one.
See, the funny thing is, back at DreamHack Summer 2012, there was a lot of talk about Soaz and how good he's going to be for Fnatic because he had stage nerves, he wasn't comfortable playing in front of a big audience. Apparently he's lost that completely now. I mean, mechanically, he is so incredibly good. I mean, Lee Sin, never going to be an easy one to play, but you just see there some of the things that he pulls off. That's incredible play from him.
And now with a Bloodthirster, he's going so aggressive in this game. Barely a defensive item on him. Phage, Ninja Tabby, and a No Magic. Everyone on WE up to try to kill him. Can he get out of this one?
Well, Soaz is there. He's got the help of his team. I don't think he's going to delay long enough. He's going to see he's jumping around, but it's not enough. He realizes the team has been going cut off. Wow. A 4-man gank. That's when you're up against it. That's how you make the picks, so that's how you make the plays. Can they make anything develop from that? Remember, he was 5-on-6, so someone's got a big chunk of gold for that.
That was a Almost full shutdown. 446 gold going to Wei Zhao, so about the worst person they could have given that kill to. That was a matter of Soaz feeling invincible after what he'd been pulling off in the first 21 minutes of this game. Just wandering a bit too far into the lane. They did not have upper ward control, so it was a good collapse by WE. That kind of shuts down Fnatic's momentum a little bit. They have to be very careful and cautious with their next move. Got to clear out their buffs. Might wait for the next dragon. They've already killed 4 turrets to 0. Let's see how they continue.
Fnatic not going to want to throw this position away. They've had some talks, I'm sure, after that last game against World Elite coming into this one, especially the post that we saw on Facebook and what have you after that, that indicated that they needed a talk and that it shouldn't happen to them this time around, but those things do happen. But we'll see how this one goes. Currently a 6,000 gold lead. We see there up at the top with Ari.
He is actually, doesn't see all of WE is waiting. They're actually kind of expecting XP. He goes in for Wei Zhao. They'd all collapse. Here comes a fight.
They go in towards N-rated. He hasn't used his ultimate. There it is. Lands it down. True Shot Barrage hits them perfectly. But Wei Zhao picks up one. It's N-rated that goes down. But you can see Messiah getting the knock-up. He's going to try and go through, but he goes straight in towards Soaz. XPK picks up a double kill. Soaz getting that kill as well. Clearlove trying to run away, but they are all scattered to the wind. And it was Team WE trying to set up the gank there, but well, Fnatic just completely benefited.
They set up the kill onto N-rated, who'd already died 5 times, and he still got off a perfect Leona ult, really just playing selflessly. He is on Leona, setting up kills for his team, and then giving his life. Really fed Reckle's going to be coming through soon. He's really starting to get that item threshold with 419, 9,400 gold to 8,000 over on Wei Zhao. Now that they've taken control of that red side of WE's jungle, won yet another team fight, gotten the momentum back, they might look to force something around Baron here.
Yep, they were just pinging that Baron area. Are they going to set up the trap, or are they going to go for it? Cyanide with the Oracle will clear out the ward, and this is the perfect situation to set it up, Demon.
They're diving up towards Clearlove. The charm comes in. He had no chance, and it's Reckless that picks up yet another kill. 519 now on their AD carry. 618 on the top lane, at 618 on the mid lane. This is disastrous for start for FZZF and his team of, well, to be honest, champions, because they've been unstoppable throughout this tournament, Joe. They're going to go towards Salme here.
And you can really just see Fnatic taking control of this jungle and entire upper quadrants of the map. The middle inhibitor's already down. Clearlove can't even think about going in. He should not have been in that double golem spot. WE's going to have to try something creative. Hope they can catch Fnatic at Baron. Fnatic's not going to make those Baron mistakes again. It's just a matter of closing at this point.
There's a Giant's Belt being picked up for Cyanide as well, so he becomes innately more tanky through that one. Clearlove down the bottom side, going to be clearing out that wave that's pushed up there. And Fnatic doing a great job of pushing all these lanes out here. Look at the ward coverage in the jungle as well, Jack. That's almost overkill. That total vision that they've got right there.
That could actually be a little bit overkill. Sometimes you see teams get a bit over-aggressive with wards. When you set up that many wards, you're really looking to get picks in the jungle and force a Baron. If they don't pull off an objective or some substantial turrets off of all those wards, it's going to be a poor investment for them. They're getting the dragon for free. After this, they might look to force around Baron. They know WE is trapped in their base, and because of that crazy ward control, they have a small window to go in for that Baron. Some of those wards only have about 60 seconds left. They're all pinging on a Baron. If WE wants to come and contest it, they'll know exactly where they're coming from. Here they are starting up on Baron.
Yeah, a lot of those wards were placed, though, during that fight, so they were just getting vision through them bushes. They are starting off on the Baron here, and honestly, though, they have complete coverage. They realize this is going to be completely for free. WE not even going to get close. Fnatic with the Baron.
And WE was really just trained not to go into their jungle. All those wards created Lee Sin heaven if he wanted to position anywhere in those team fights with his W. All of the pressure they've put on WE in the past 26 minutes has really just accumulated into this Baron buff. All the teleports from Soaz, all the combos by Reckles, all the initiations by N-rated where he dies himself. Now they're going to look to dive this inhibitor turret.
Let's see how this one works out. Q's going out from Lee Sin, the charms as well. And it's a case of catching the right target and then getting straight in there from Fnatic's point of view. Let's see what they can do here. In the middle lane, Soaz is actually pushing straight through, trying to take away those minions. Obviously, Inhibitor is already down on that side. And with that, he's going to force one man to come over and do a bit of cover work onto him, Jack.
So Soaz really doing his work to split push here. Lee Sin wants to force skirmishes. All of Fnatic really does want to force skirmishes overall as a strategy. WE going to have to try to force something. You can see the poke just coming down right onto Xiaomei. The dive could be instantaneous death if they pull it off right. That turret taking a lot of chunks.
The Charm just trying to go out there, flashing past Clearlove, trying to take him away from it, and there is the turret going down. Then they realize they can't really fight this one, but they're going to lose another inhibitor if they don't engage, and that is going to mean 2. It is Soaz goes in, he kicks out Wei Xiao. Wei Xiao, Valkyrie's out, they can see the gust of the Sad Mommy down. Wei Xiao yet to go down, PK manages to come in, PK picks up 2, on towards Clearlove, the Charm comes up, PK gets in there, it's Cyanide that picks up the kill, triple kill for PK as well, and Salme the last man standing. Fnatic diving in towards the Nexus turrets. This is going to be game. This is going to level things off. It's going to be 1-1, all square. We have 4 matches left. Who will take the championship at IPL5?
What a play by Fnatic, really just evening out this series immediately. So what about the losers bracket, because game on for WE. That's a message with how well they were able to win that match.